Hi, my name's John. If you're here watching my videos, tap the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. If you like my videos, hit the bell icon so you can get notifications for new videos. And at the end of the video, you can hit the icon in the center and also subscribe to my channel. Okay. This steel line, fuel line that I bought at AutoZone. That's part number 800-153. 800-153. It's quick disconnect fuel line. It's about 18 inches long, which is way too long for what I need. It comes with two different seals. I believe the brown one's good for the fuel with ethanol in it. Okay, this tool I bought from Master Cool. It's a crimping tool, a hydraulic crimping tool, and it does inverted flare, it does double flare, does bubble flare, does bubble flares for metric brake lines. It actually does this flare. It does the GM. We shut off again, I don't know why. Okay, let's start over. I bought this from Master Cool off of eBay. This 3/8 line that you get at AutoZone. Part number is 800-153. 800-153. It's a 3/8 fuel line. It's got the GM fuel line connection already on it. I bought this from Master Cool off eBay. It does the inverted flare. It does the okay, it does the inverted flare. It does in all sizes. It does a regular flare, a double flare. It does the fuel line, GM fuel line fitting flare. You can order the parts to do the transmission flares. Here's the one for the GM fuel lines. And then here's the one for the push-on fittings, the GM push-on fuel line fittings. Okay, it does double flare in this one. It does a bubble flare in this one. It does the push-on fittings in these two, 3/8 and 5/16. It does the bubble flare, double flare, and regular 45-degree flare with all them in this cone. And it does a pretty good job. That's one I've made already. So, I mean, it makes it just like factory. So, anyway, I'm just going to get over here and do a kind of a bubble flare for my fuel line. So, you put these two together like this, and you put them in here. Of course, I've got to shorten this line quite a bit. So, let me grab my filter out of here. It took me a minute to find my filter. I had it stashed away. Now they are directional, so whenever you put it on, you make sure you put it on right. But anyway, it goes in just like that, tightens up on that seal, and then you're good to go. Put one in both sides, it works in both sides. Okay, it's the same thing on both sides. Alright, now I have to cut this line down because I don't need 3 feet of line and a filter. Sorry for the wind again, folks, but I need enough to make this crimp. So basically, I'm going to need enough to put that nut on there and have it even with the end of that line so I can cut it. Now I just cut it with this pipe cutter. My dad was a plumber. He always called it a pipe imp, so that's what I've grown up calling it. They're not great for this harder line, but they get the job done. It just takes a little longer, and it actually does a pretty nice cut. You don't want to do it fast because you'll end up pushing the line in. You'll squeeze it down and it'll be harder to flare because it wants to go in before it's supposed to, if that makes any sense at all. This tool cost about $250 on eBay. It's up to $400 if you buy it from a direct seller. You can actually buy more dies for it to do different style fittings. You can buy more dies to do different fittings with it. They're not very pricey. They're, you know, anywhere from $30 to $50 each for a set. Make sure I'm recording here because my camera keeps going off and I can't figure out why. Yeah, it looks like I'm recording. The separate pieces aren't too high, so you know it makes it pretty easy to do this stuff. Now what you do, or what I do, is I get this in here where it's going to be, and then I can push this fitting up in there. It has this little deal to hold it in place where you don't push your tubing too far in there. It doesn't want to go. Okay, it doesn't let you push it too far in there. That way you get it right where it needs to be, right at the end of that fitting, and then you pull it all down to where it's tied up against the side, and you tighten them jaws till these seams are pretty well even. And I try to get them closed because steel's hard and it doesn't give very much, and it ends up pushing that out. Okay, I think I ended up getting the wrong jaws. In fact, I know I did. I need the ones that are short, I do believe. These right here. Sorry, I did that wrong. Hopefully I got it right this time. Guess I won't know till it happens. Okay, it's even with the end. Okay, now what you do is you screw this thing all the way down until it stops. Okay, once it stops, you close the valve and you pump it. Okay, and you don't want to pump it too far because you just want it to make the bubble on the ends. You don't want it to make like it's going to go to an inverted flare or a you don't want it to make an inverted flare, and you don't want it to go. Well, see, I didn't get it tight enough. I just pushed it in there. You don't want it to go to where it's going to be what am I trying to say? You don't want it to be a double flare. You just want it to be a bubble flare. I'll get it loose, get it pushed back up in there again, and then tighten it down again. And like I said, it's got to be really tight. A lot tighter than you'd think. Okay, like I said, screw it down in there till it stops. Still don't look tight enough. See, it's got that gap right there. Try to tighten a little more. Yeah, it's gonna have to be tight enough. Okay, then you tighten your valve up here, and then you crank it. Okay, it's moved in just a little bit. I don't want to go any further than that. I want to see what it's done first. Looks like it's done it. Yeah, I made my bubble on the end. That's all I want to do is make a bubble on the end. So it's basically like a regular fuel line fitting. And there you go. That'll push your hose, push up over that. You clamp it with a high pressure clamp and it won't come off. And I gotta do that to both of them. So like I said, and you want it to be long enough that you can push your hose on there. I'm gonna give it about a finger's width more than what I actually need. Go to about right there. And then do the same thing to this one. It's already starting to warm up. End of September, and it's hotter than hell. And next month we'll have snow on the ground. But this is how I did both of my tanks. Right, wrong, or unnecessary. I wanted to make my truck where it had like the factory tank set up, and the only way I could figure out to do it was like this with the high pressure clamps. They don't make, I guess they do. Mike Finnegan on with his boat had basically a tank selector system to switch from his race fuel to regular gas or ethanol or whatever, to E85, and he found out that it leaked, and he was mixing his, you know, $15 a gallon racing fuel with E85. I hope that's tight enough. Here, like I said, till it's tight, crank down on that, and if you watch your letters here, you can see it's moving, and you can feel on the other side to see if it's moving from the other side. Okay, that moved it enough. Now you could probably unscrew it, but if you take the pressure off of it, it'll unscrew a lot easier. When you're doing a full flare, the die tends to get stuck in there and you can't unscrew it. You have to let the pressure off and then you can unscrew it. I can't tell if I got a flare on that one or not. Looks like I got one, but not much. So we'll flare it a little more. Nope, it's slipping out. So you don't want to unscrew the bottom, you have to unscrew that, and then it'll let you slide it out. Yeah, it's just slipping. So let me take it out, make sure it didn't flare it any. They flared it some, but you can see where it slipped, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise it back up. Stick it back in there. Try to get it a little tighter. Screw it back down till it stops. Tighten your valve. Okay, like I said, you can grab a hold of it over here and see if it's slipping. Okay, it didn't slip that time, and I know I got a flare now. Yeah, got a good flare. There you go. So now I've got two of them flared, about the same length. I just got a message, I gotta see what it is. I'll be right back. Okay, it was just some BS email. Anyway, these fittings go right in here where they're supposed to. They tighten down into the face of the filter there. Okay, and these are the clamps I'm using. These are high pressure fuel clamps. So they squeeze equally on the whole hose and don't leave a gap like regular what do they call them, oh, I want to say screw clamps, but all clamps are screw clamps basically, except for the squeeze type. But anyway, let me change batteries out on the camera and I'll be right back.